Good morning everybody, and a warm welcome from here in Induna Game Reserve in South Africa. My name is Tara, and joining me on camera this morning is Kat, and back in sound control is Herman. And I'm quite excited. I did hear some hyenas just now calling, and Induna was seen on Philimon's Cutline, so I do want to have a look around, see if there's any tracks of him walking this way, because there was a lot of impala down the southern side of the old quarantine area. So let's have a quick look, and then we can carry on and see what else we can go and find this morning. I'm quite keen to see if we can find some tracks of Karula and see if she's made her way back this side, so fingers crossed that she has. But let's jump aboard and continue on our journey this morning. There's a little bit of cloud cover. We didn't have too much rain as we thought last night, but it's quite cool. As you can see, I've got a jacket on this morning. I'm going to keep a close eye on those clouds. It looks like there was a rhino walking here at some stage. Maybe we'll be lucky enough to see the rhino that we were missing yesterday. We had 4 out of the big 5 yesterday. See the animals, they might be in a very thick bush, or they might be moving around other areas. And then all of a sudden it feels like everything just pops out the woodworks, so to speak. more hyena tracks. Yeah, I've been busy last night. I think we'll go to where we left Induna last night, same thing on the termite mound, and see if there's any tracks from there. Yeah, there is some leopard tracks crossing through here. Maybe he did make his way through to quarantine area after all. It might be worth this. We'll just quickly check out around termite mound just to see if there's any more tracks, but it does look like they were his tracks. Some zebra tracks here. There'll be some zebra up ahead. Yeah, it was him. There's his tracks. And I'm not seeing any zebra up ahead, so let's turn around and maybe check out. We'll do a loop around towards Cutline. Come up. Warburg's link, I think. It's a little two-track, a little road that links the quarantine area with Twin Dams. kind of searched high and low last night. There's even more tracks here coming in from the south. Very strong smell, animal smell. Smells a bit like buffalo. Some fresh buffalo tracks here, so it could well be buffalo. Induna likes this block here. We've seen him a few times in here. So that's why I want to make a lap around and see if he's come through this side. Come down towards Chelapan. crested francolins up there. They sing as a couple. And those beautiful markings on them help to hide them away in the bush. Gone. They are such a beautiful little bird. Surprised we actually haven't heard any francolins calling this morning, saying beer and cognac, beer and cognac. Most birds will call first thing in the morning to mark the territory and to let all the other birds in the area know, or the other birds of that species know, that they've survived the night, so their territory is still being held. So not to bother trying to move in. Around 90% or so of birds will call first thing in the morning, the dawn chorus. And a few will call last thing at night, and the crested francolin is one of those that will call first thing in the morning, last thing at night, and maybe a little bit during the day too, to mark the territory. Good morning to you, Alan and Rachel. Great to have you on board this morning. And I'm really glad to hear you're enjoying the safaris. And just like a lot of other people, it gives you an opportunity to see Africa that you might not be able to have a chance to see. So I'm really pleased to hear that you're enjoying them. I'm wanting to know, do the animals come close to the vehicle in an aggressive or in a curious way? And they do. And if you can time it right, and you can try and predict the behavior of the animal, sometimes we can get the animals walking maybe within half a meter of the vehicle. Sometimes the animals do deviate from their pathway to come up and have a look at us, especially the elephants. Some of the smaller elephants, very curious. The lions, we had a huge male lion walking right down the side of the vehicle. And the leopards also centimeters away from the vehicle. The hyenas, especially the cubs, have been finding out what the vehicle is all about. So it is possible to see the animals right up close, but the whole trick behind it is to let the animals come to you. Because if we were to try and approach the animals at those distances, that's like bursting their bubble. And we have to make sure that we don't get too close too quickly. So you'll often see us maybe about 20 meters away from the animals, depending on the animal. Sometimes a little bit further if it's telling us to back off, like the lion's mating. Recently we've had the male show signs of aggression. He's not charged the vehicle. Okay. So as long as we listen to what they're saying, they'll tell us if they don't want us any closer. If they don't mind, if there's no reaction, we'll get a little bit closer. And we wait for them to come to us. And that allows the animal to stay relaxed on their terms. So they tend to stay a lot more relaxed. You don't get them charging at the vehicle. On occasion we have had animals charging the vehicle. Unusual circumstances. Just want to find out if we're able to see the animal. Andrew, come in. Andrew, come in. There's the zebra and the impala. Texan, come in. Good morning, Texan. Do you know where the Indlof are on Gary Main? Copy, thank you. I'll see if I can catch up with those on Gallego then. Thank you. Ah. Copy that. Yeah, I'll see if I can catch up with the Indlov and then go around towards Buffalo's Hook Dam way, I think. The three amigos by the looks of it. One with part of his tail missing. These are common or plain zebra. And you can't see it at the moment, but what sets them apart from other zebra is a shadow stripe usually. If they do turn around you might be able to see it, and it's a light brown stripe on the rump area. But these guys don't have a very distinctive shadow stripe. The one in the middle probably has the most. and the red-billed oxpeckers also trying to find breakfast this morning. Now with all the trees around, the red-billed oxpeckers probably would have roosted in the trees. If there's a lack of trees, then they will roost on the animals themselves. And I did see a juvenile oxpecker the other day. They lack that bright red bill, but they are known as cooperative breeders. So when the oxpeckers and the pair have some offspring, they may stick around to help rear the next set of chicks that they have. And surprisingly, quite a few birds will do this. And there's a stump, possibly bitten off by a line. Could even have been bitten during a fight. Oh, nice. Okay, well let's head down towards Twin Dam then. Have a quick look at the impala just before we head off. Andrew, come in. Andrew, come in.
Yeah, go, Tara. Morning, how are you?
Good, thanks. Good morning to you. Just wanting to find out where there isn't lava on Gary, Maine.
Sure, Johan, one of our guys, just got some copy there. Say they move out to the south. But I'm not sure maybe how many of them there, but I'm going there.
Copy. Whereabouts there isn't love that you had? Love that you had, were they also on Gary, Maine?
But they're more
Okay.
to the Cutline there, so they basically now taking it to this area.
Okay, copy, thanks. I didn't get that part of the message. Thank you. Okay. I'm still looking. Had some enclosures fambering towards quarantine area, but I've checked around Chelapan, there's Lutu so far. I'm down by Gary Dam at the moment. Okay.
I'm just going to pass by on the boundary there in case it comes out.
Sounds like we might have some better luck with the rhinos. They sound like they're not moving. From what Texan told me about the elephants, who are further north from here, sounds like they moved east into the bush. So let's go and see if we can check down towards Twin Dams, see if we can catch up with those rhinos, and then we'll head north and see if those elephants come out towards Induna Road. It sounds like the lions are giving Texans the run around. Apparently the lions, where we left them on Buffalo's Cutline, as we were saying yesterday, I think they're getting to that stage where they may be ending the mating now, and it sounds like they've moved from that area. The Texans tracking them, they're going all like this across the road, going north. North and then south, and north and then south. So he's looking for those this morning. So let's go and see if we can catch up with the rhino, and then we'll see if we can head north and try and catch up with the elephant, see if we can. I think someone was asking about there being guides here. I didn't quite hear who it was. Someone asking, is there many guides here, because you're hearing them on the radio. Josh, hi Josh. And Josh, you're alright. There is a number of guides here. There's different lodges in the area, and depending on how large the lodge is will dictate how many guides there are that drive out of there. So there's a number of vehicles that can traverse this area, and we all work together to try and cover as much ground as possible to try and find the animals. So if you have 3 vehicles, we can all take different routes, and you'll hear us saying which routes we're taking, which roads we've covered, just so that we can try and find as many animals as possible. So I was just giving them the update that I had some leopard tracks from yesterday and where they moved to, and telling them that I was covering this area to try and look for the leopards, so that they know that if I see anything, I'll let them know. So if we had the leopard on the road now, I would then say, okay, I've got a leopard here, and if people want to respond to it, then they will say to me, can we come and see it? And to try and keep the animals relaxed, just going back to the question I had earlier, to try and keep them relaxed around the vehicles, we do have a limit of 3 vehicles that are allowed to view the animal. Because if you have too many vehicles surrounding an animal, then the animals, they can get a little bit upset and move away into the bush, and you don't get a chance to see them too nicely. But what's been found and kind of proven, that if you have just 3 vehicles, a maximum of 3 vehicles viewing the animal, and usually just 1 vehicle moving around a stationary animal, if an animal's moving, then the vehicles, and that's how we can get some beautiful views of these wild animals. So we're a little bit far away to call in for the rhino sighting at the moment. But and I will call in. So I'm monitoring the radio. It sounds like at the moment there's only 4 of us out. So if all of us wanted to respond to the rhino sighting now, all at the same time, then one of us would have to be what we call on standby. So we're in a lineup. So usually the first person that enters the sighting, once they leave, they'll invite the person in the lineup into the sighting. So sometimes you might hear us saying, okay, we're waiting to go into a sighting, and that's what's happening. Johan Smith.
Morning.
Good morning, can I respond to that on combi cycling?
Yeah, please move on.
Copy, thank you. Ooh, that hurt. Wow, so well hidden. My word, sitting right on the edge of the road, and I didn't see him. The grass is so long, you can hardly see him now. Sorry, little one, didn't mean to scare you there. Stations, I've just found an Ingwe, just south of Chelapan.
Okay, copy, thanks. You gonna stick around with it?
Yeah, I'll stick around with him for a little bit.
It's mobile.
Not at the moment. There's another plans at the moment. I can't see who it is, but possibly Induna.
Okay, so just let me know when you locate again.
Yeah, I've got visual. It's not great visual, 1 out of 5 at the moment.
Okay, copy, thanks. I'll let you know if hopefully they're still in the jam. Sure that we go to the south.
Copy that.
Andrew, what's your spot then? Ingwe? Chelapan.
You can see. I think he was probably expecting us to see him and stop. That's why it was right. It was only until we were right on top of him that he moved. I can't say for sure. It's possibly Induna. might actually just stand up after he's taken stock of what's just happened. But he doesn't seem to be too worried. And that's another thing, they do get used to the vehicles and it being part of their lives. So when you do bump into them like this, especially the leopards I've seen, they don't take it too much to heart. Mixo has done the same to us. They're hiding so well in the grass, right next to the road. There we go. That is one of the boys. I'm going to turn around and have a look at this. See if we can just move on a little bit. And it wasn't until we were right on top of him did he move. And he does have all the faith in us that we're going to stop. Hey, beautiful. Actually, this could be Mixo. Speaking of the devil. Yep, a long white tail. Remember, Induna's missing part of his tail. And I just saw that a deep Y next to his right eye. So this is Mixo, brother of Induna, son of Karula. Yeah, let's see if we can move on again. This Ingwe is mobile in a southerly direction now.
Along the road.
Negative. At the moment. This is looking a little bit there. Let's see if we can see him coming out. He may have gone into the drainage line there. He could just be sitting underneath the bush. bush. This is the last time we saw him. I don't think he was too worried about us. If he was, he would have moved into the bush straight away. So that's both boys being seen in 2 days.
Yes, and not with a start of the slowly feeding. Not of the desert.
And it still amazes me that even though Karuta's had her cubs, they're still around. Standing by?
And then that's it.
Negative so far. He may have gone into the drainage line.
So you in Milwaukee or where are you now?
I'm in Milwaukee at the moment. Just looking to try and relocate down here. I've just lost him clambering towards the Milwaukee, but not actually into it.
Sure, it could be something in a pen. Yeah, good to
Copy. You'll see mine concerts where I just
okay, that's great.
see if there's any sign of him. Otherwise, what we might do is just carry on heading down towards Twin Dams and see if we can catch up with the rhinos. It sounds like they're moving south. And leave Andrew to check the area and see if he'll just pop out again. Which is a possibility. say with it being that soil that does hold a lot of water, it's not a good idea to go off-road and try and have a look there. You might just get stuck. Which is never a good idea. Good morning. Good, how you doing? He just went towards the drainage line, but he could even be sat just behind the bush, but I'm just a bit worried about sinking in there, so... Yeah, I'm going to see if we can catch up with those rhinos and I'll come back and help. Okay, cool. We'll see if we can catch up and come back and give you a hand. Good luck. Jack, welcome on board from Virginia. Morning to you. And Jack, wanting to know, is the reserve big enough to handle all the leopards? Karula, Mixo, Induna, occasionally Yambili or Dan, Wyckoff's son, and wanting to know, has Wyckoff's son been seen or heard about? And I think last time we saw him was when Induna had a kill right outside Fan Control, and just by the staff compound, and that was probably a good couple of months ago now. We were able to identify him as Wyckoff's son. But since then I don't think he's been seen or heard of, but maybe someone can help me out with that. I'll have to check the tracking reports, see if he's been seen on other properties. But they're not fenced in, they can go wherever they want, so they will organise themselves accordingly. And between Juma, we actually traverse 1,000 hectares on Juma. Juma itself is probably about 10,000 hectares, but Juma lies within the Sabi Sands, which is roughly about 65,000 hectares. And there's no fencing. Animals moving out into the villages and to stop people coming in to poach the animals. So the boundary fence between Kruger National Park and the Sabi Sands was taken down. So the Sabi Sands and the Kruger National Park together form the Greater Kruger, and that's about 2.7 million hectares. And these animals are free to move in that whole area. So they can organize themselves. But what still astounds me is that those two boys are still around. And we've got three big males, Mvula, Yambili Ordan and Mufufanyan. Three big males in the area who are overlapping territories to a certain degree. And they're still being tolerated. I think there was a study done on the leopards in the Sabi Sands. Find out how... Oh, there's the rhino. See if we can go around here and have a look at them. And if I remember rightly, I think the average size... I think I'm going to have it confirmed. But I think it was around 2,000 hectares, average size territory for a female. Okay, we're going to see if we can... There's one of the rhinos. I think the other rhinos are slowly making their way to the road. These are white rhinos. You can see it feeding on grass there. Wide mouth, acting like a lawnmower to try and get in as much grass as possible. And there is a juvenile oxpecker on the back of the rhino. You know, the oxpecker's flat to his body, trying to warm up by the looks of it. Okay, I'm going to pull round again and see if we can get them coming out onto the road. You can see their faces with any luck. In Swahili, oxpeckers means rhino guards. Askari, and I forget the last part of it, it means rhino guard. They're associated with the rhinos so much. It's not just the rhinos, as we saw this morning. We've had the oxpeckers on the zebra. We also see them on impala and wildebeest, giraffes, buffalo. They're going to pop out this bush. I can see at least 2 rhinos. It could be the crash of 5 that we get here. Oh no! These are different rhinos. Yep. This could be the bull and the female calf that we've seen in the past. Not too happy with the other rhino behind it. Good morning, mister. That's as far open as they can open the mouths. They can't open the mouths any further than that, just a few centimetres. And they crop the grass with their lips and then suck the grass to the back of the mouth where the molars are to grind up the grass. Okay, I'm just wanting to move past this bush and let's see if we can get them walking in front of us. Got a nice view of them, hopefully. Although they do seem a lot more relaxed than the other two. No, it is the young female. Using Columbia slowly mobile now in an easterly direction along Gary Main. Stations, there's 3 in Columbia on Gary Main, south of Twin Dams, and in an easterly direction. The next. And they are such gentle giants. Hopefully you could hear that. I'm just wanting to move down again and see if we can catch them before they cross over. I think he's trying to push them out of his territory. I hear that heavy breathing every time it comes close to this male rhino. And when he was approaching this male rhino, his ears were flat. This rhino in front of us, his ears went flat, which tends to suggest he is trying to push them out, with him being a male. And sometimes the territory owners will be tolerant and will allow the males to be in their territory as long as they're subordinate. But he's not making too much of a big. And I think we saw this probably 3 or 4 weeks ago. I think it's the same 3 rhinos on cheetah Cutline. And he was doing the same thing. Okay, I'm just going to try and roll forward a little bit more again. Hi Joe, welcome on board this morning. And you're absolutely right, Joe, rhinos don't see well. You can see how big their eyes are compared to their head. The eyes are tiny. So the eyesight is not great. But you're asking, seems as they can't see well, do they have a good sense of smell? And yes they do, they have a very good sense of smell. extremely good sense of smell, but also a very good sense of hearing. You can see the ears twitching, moving around like satellite dishes, trying to get as much information as possible. Now the reason why the eyesight is so poor is because they have close vision to see what they're eating. So to make up for that, they have better smell and better hearing. And you can see the ears right up on top of the head there. He's going to have a scratch now, look. You can still see those ears moving. So they're right up there on top of the head, so that when they've got the head down, especially in the long grass, as you've seen already this morning, it's very difficult to get too much information when your head's down in the grass. So with the ears being so high up, smell anything ahead of them. That's exactly what these rhinos are doing now. The wind's blowing towards us and they're moving away from us. Let's try once more to catch up with them, and then we'll head back to see if we can give Andrew another hand to try and find Mixo again. So hopefully you can hear that heavy breathing. That we're going to do it again. It's like that. See, now he's actually got the higher ground. I think he was telling his bull rhino to back off a little bit. Sorry, that first one sounded more like a leopard. It's more like a heavy breathing. There you go, that's better. And that can be a sign of aggression, but I've also heard it a slightly different pitch, I think, as a form of greeting. But when it's coupled with the ears back, pulled back, there's a sign of aggression. Now if even one of them has enough, that heavy breathing will then turn into quite a deep growl. Just like that. Right on cue. but he's certainly not letting him push him out of the way. I start to see how those ears become useful. Doesn't even have to look in our direction to know what we're doing. Almost as if just say, is that all you've got? Okay then. You can see that possibly younger bull was still pulling back. He didn't actually charge right into this territorial bull at the back. He still pulled back. He's still a little bit afraid, I think, of what could happen to him. And I think this bull knows, and that's why he's standing his ground and just keeps coming up behind them, just pushing them on. I think we're a little bit too far away from Leadwood Road, so we'll be moving into the bush. I just want to pull forward a little bit more because we might be able to have another look at this bull before we go. And work out which direction he's going to go. just so pleased we're able to catch up with the rhino. I do have a very soft spot for them. A very big soft spot. Very misunderstood animal. A lot of people find them extremely intimidating, which of course they definitely look intimidating. Looking about 2.5 ton animal there, with the horns on the face, which are actually for protection more than anything. Made of the same substance as your hair and your fingernail. It's a protein called keratin. Such a versatile substance. It makes bird feathers, porcupine quills, pangolin scales. There they go, disappearing into the bush. Hi, Binky. Good morning to you. Binky wanting to rhinos. Binky wanting to know has rhinos ever been taken down by lions? And I do believe they have. It's not normal, like it's not on the menu all the time. But I did hear, someone did actually send it through, because I was asking about that the other day, because I've not seen it, and I'm pretty sure they could do it, but not heard about it, and someone did say they have actually witnessed lions taking down a rhino. Rhino calves are a lot more vulnerable. The horns only start growing once they're born. So baby rhinos are about 40 kilos in weight. They're roughly about the same size as a warthog or a Labrador dog. So they are extremely vulnerable. Female rhino is going to be extremely protective over them. And hyenas, lions, if they have the opportunity, may also hunt baby rhino. Stations, the 3 in combi are cambered north from Gary, Maine, towards Ledwood Road. I'm leaving the lock open. And hi to Glynis. Good morning to you, Glynis. And you're a bit worried about the cubs. Will Mixo and Induna kill the cubs if they find them? It's very difficult to say, Glynis. It's one of those, it really does depend on the circumstances, I think. If Karula's with the cubs, will she let them get near them? Will she allow them to come up and smell them? Are leopards able to recognize other family members that they're related to, but maybe don't know that they're related to? Have we ever seen an interaction between Karula's daughters and her sons before? If Mixo was to meet Saserka, for example, would he recognize Saserka as his sister? Who knows? But apparently they have done a study on baboons, and they found that baboons can recognize family members by smell. So if baboons can do it, maybe leopards can, maybe lions can. But it's a very difficult one to say for sure at the moment. I don't think there has been research done on the cats in that way. It may be if they find them in the den. Again, who knows? They're not at breeding age yet. They're getting there, but they're not actually at breeding age yet. So technically they shouldn't find the cubs as a threat as what maybe other male leopards would do. Other male leopards will kill cubs if they're not their own. And again, that's the question, how do they know they're not their own? Is it because they know if they've mated with a certain female or not, and if she has a cub they know there's no way it can be his, because she hasn't mated with her? It is a very difficult one to really say for sure, Linus. I'm hoping they're not going to pose a threat. And there shouldn't be a reason why they would pose a threat. But there is a possibility that they may kill them. I certainly would love to see an interaction between Rula and the boys and the cubs. See how she does react with them, with the cubs. I'd rather her be with the cubs rather than not. Because at least if there is any problems, then she'll be able to step in.
One Maguna west is and not along Shallow Road. I don't know if you're going to step or go
Good morning to you, Michael. Oh, am I hearing squirrels calling? This is where we lost Mishu a little bit earlier, one of our resident male leopards. I'm just listening out. Be able to maybe just turn the camera a little bit further and just have a look so everyone can see. Well, if there was a squirrel calling, it's not now. Okay, so let me just drive on a little bit, because maybe it changes direction. Sorry, getting sidetracked, but you're wanting to know, is there any rare antelope species here, like sable or sesame or roan? And there is in the Greater Kruger, which is what we're part of here in the Sabi Sound. But we don't tend to get those antelope here, although they are in the park, but more towards Kruger. especially the sable and the roan. I suppose the sesame to a certain degree. There's a particular species of grass that they prefer eating. They're very, very picky about what they eat. So this is... There is a possibility that they can pass through, and I think they have been here once or twice, but they would rather pass through to other preferable areas rather than stay here. Look down in the range lines and things just popped out. It could be in that very thick bush there. I think he definitely got a wake-up call this morning. Possibly why it took him so long to move, actually. I think he was sleeping. Especially with all these heavy rains, you just got to be very careful. And this soil here is not the best soil for going off-roading. With being so waterlogged, you're going to be sinking quite quickly. Otherwise, we'd have a drive towards where we lost him, or we would have been able to follow him. But maybe he needed a bit of peace. Cross through the Milwaukee. It's wonderful to see the Milwaukee flowing so quickly and strongly. Remember, in the winter time we can actually drive all the way up in the riverbed, but now there's quite a lot of water around. Maybe another look this side, just in case he's made his way down the bank, sitting on the sandbanks here. And maybe he'll be a little bit more active later on this afternoon. So let's try Vubu Road. See if we can catch up with those elephants and see if there's any tracks of Mishu's mother. At least we managed to have a quick glimpse of him. avoid the lions being around, Camilla may have made her way further north into Buffalo's Hook. I did see some tracks of hers a couple of days ago on Gary Cutline, possibly with tracks of the cubs too. I am hoping that she has moved those cubs, which I'm sure she has. She is a fantastic mother. She's successfully raised 2 sets of cubs already, and the cubs that she has now are about 2 months old. So they should be old enough to move around with her, as the tracks of the source suggests. They are doing that. So the likelihood of us seeing those cubs is increasing every day. I really am hoping it's going to be soon. I think the reason why Induna was on Philimon's Cutline yesterday, on Rebecca's Road first thing in the morning, and Mixo turning up by Chelapan now. It's got a whiteback vulture in the tree here. You can get a clear view of it. I think our vulture chick is gone. I haven't seen the nest occupied for a few days now. This could even be our vulture chick. The whiteback vultures and cape vultures are fairly similar. When the wings are out, you'll be able to see the white on the back where the vulture gets its name from. The cape vulture is slightly larger, and it has 2 blue patches on the front next to where its shoulders would be. Also a very good indication if there's any predators around with a carcass. Well, there only being one and it's sitting quite high, the likelihood of there being a carcass in there is very remote. If we had quite a few vultures around, then there is quite a good possibility of there being food. And animals will watch the movements of vultures, even hyenas will watch the movements of vultures. Any food available. It doesn't look like it's going to move. Could be just warming up, waiting for a thermal to take it high into the sky and allow it to travel to maybe even Botswana today. There have been some vultures recorded from South Africa. They're found in Botswana and they'll fly out to find food. So they don't tend to go hungry. There's always food available and they are able to travel huge distances to find it. Actually start to feel the difference. I'm taking my jacket off now. Rattling cisticola. Little brown bird. Nicely comes and sits next to the road so we can show him to you. Sounds like there's one pretty close. They usually sit right on top of the tree. Ah, there he is. She says that. Maybe a little bit far away, but maybe we should try it. But this little bird likes to sit right on top of the tree to advertise his territory. He's sitting right on top of a dead branch there. It's very difficult to tell the cisticolas or cisticulars, depends on how you want to say it, apart. And they're all pretty much the same size, brown. But the way it can help you to distinguish between them, now if it was just sitting there without speaking or calling, trying to get to that stage, distinguishing them, but the calls is what should help to distinguish them, as well as the habitat that they live in, and also the flight pattern. So each cisticola or cisticular has a different fly pattern, a different call. It should help to determine what it is. Sounds like the bush fax machine. And again, sitting out on the tip of a branch or on the end of a piece of grass is quite common for these small birds. And they actually advertise their territory without having to put too much effort into it. Are we able to get this spider here? Might be a little bit far away. I said the other day I wanted to show a golden orb spider. And we might even be able to see the golden strands as the sun is hitting the web. Looks like a fairly young female, it's quite small, and she's got a full web. Yep, you got her? Yep, right in the centre of the screen you've got her. Yep, keep zooming in. And then just drop it a little bit, she's just about there. You see the Phelotopchloris glass behind it. That's soft looking grass, beautiful grass. Banded-legged golden orb spider. You should be able to see the bands on the legs. Okay. Getting there? There we go. That's it. Perfect. So you should be able to see the bands on the legs. Oh, no, gone too far. They get the name from the golden strands that they weave of their web, and it is incredibly strong. It's actually known to be one of the strongest threads that a spider is able to produce. And if you took a piece of steel the same thickness as that of the spider's thread, it's believed to be 20 times stronger. But you must take the steel at the same thickness. Okay, let's see if we can move on. It's worth a try. She's much thinner, and her abdomen's much thinner than that of the golden orb that we saw the other day. But she is quite a small female. Males are much smaller. Males are like the 10th the size of a female. Good morning, Mr. Impala. Okay. I think we'll try Induna Road next, and maybe head towards Buffalo Dam. See how we do that side. We're just having the tracks on Gary May. Just if we drive drive around this block every so often, may have a chance to bump into her. I haven't seen any of her tracks down on the south, so I think she is still in the northern section of her territory. But she can be quite sneaky too. She has this habit of disappearing and then popping up unexpectedly. Induna's walking down here, just double checking the tracks there. Herman spotted Dove just flew into the road. I was looking to show it to you before I could stop the vehicle.